Okay, so we're always, hearing this message, right? More motivation. That's the secret sauce. It's
Yeah.
the key to unlocking everything, achieving your dreams. It's sold as this essential fuel.
Absolutely. It's everywhere.
But what if that constant chase for more drive? What if that's actually tripping us up?
Hmm.
Could the very thing we think powers our success actually be leading us towards, well, burnout?
It's a really interesting counterpoint, isn't it, to that standard advice, this deep-seated idea that just relentless drive equals results. Our deep dive today, looking at the material we've gathered, it really shines a light on how that push, push, push can become, well, a pretty big problem.
Right.
We're looking at how that internal engine, when it's maybe misdirected or just too much, can lead straight to exhaustion, a kind of warped sense of self-worth. And yeah, ultimately, it can really derail you.
Exactly. So let's maybe put aside the usual just hustle harder stuff for a bit. We're diving into what one of our sources actually calls the dark side of motivation, which is quite a phrase.
It is.
We're going to unpack these surprisingly negative ways this apparently positive thing can show up, and more importantly, what you can maybe do about it.
Yeah.
By the end of this, hopefully, you'll have a clearer sense of whether your own drive is like a healthy push or something else that's actually holding you back.
And our sources pull out 3 specific types of motivation that can be pretty toxic. They're worth a closer look. The first one, obsessive motivation.
Okay.
Think of it as that constant never enough feeling. You hit a goal, maybe a big one, and instead of feeling good about it,
Yeah.
your mind just instantly jumps to the next thing. Satisfaction was barely there, maybe not at all, because you're always looking ahead.
Ah,
Okay.
it's like you're on an escalator, but just as you get near the top, it speeds up.
Exactly that.
You're always climbing, always striving, but you never actually land somewhere and feel, content.
Right. And the source material really highlights how that endless chase stops you from appreciating what you've actually done. There's just no room to breathe or reflect. It's just want more, do more, next thing. The core idea is that chasing the next win without savoring this win creates this loop of dissatisfaction. It kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, what's the second one?
The second one is insecure motivation. Now, this one can be a bit trickier, maybe more subtle.
How so?
Because from the outside, it still looks like drive, looks like ambition, but the fuel underneath isn't genuine passion for the work. It's often a fear
Fear of what?
of failing, or maybe a really deep need to prove your worth, to validate yourself through achievement. The drive comes from that insecurity, trying to outrun feeling, inadequate.
Gotcha. So it's that little voice saying, I have to crush this to show I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I can't fail because what will people think?
Exactly. And while, look, that can make you take action, the source points out it's like corrosive fuel.
Corrosive, yeah.
It's powered by avoiding something bad, not striving for something good. And that negativity underneath, well, it takes a toll on your well-being, your relationship with what you're actually doing.
Right. It's like running a car on fumes, isn't it?
That's a great analogy.
It might move, but it's not efficient. And it's probably damaging the engine long term.
Precisely. Okay, and the third toxic type identified is addictive motivation.
Addictive.
Yeah.
Like addicted to the work itself.
Yeah, pretty much. This is where the act of working, the grind, the hustle itself, that becomes the reward. Taking time off, that feels like failure. There can even be this almost sense of superiority over people who, have a balanced life. The source even points out a worrying sign, secretly looking down on people who have interests outside of work.
Wow. That is, yeah.
The irony, of course, is that glorifying being constantly on often leads to underperformance eventually, or just quitting altogether.
Which is a huge red flag, right? When your whole identity gets so wrapped up in your job or your hustle that even thinking about a vacation feels like a crisis.
Oh.
And that Stanford research you mentioned from our materials, that's pretty stark. People who are excessively driven burning out at twice the rate
Yeah.
and more likely to just ditch the whole thing.
Yeah, it shows how that initial super intense spark, if it's not managed, can just consume everything.
Okay, so those are the toxic types. How do we know? How can you tell if your motivation is healthy or if it's tipping over into one of these harmful patterns?
Well, the source gives some pretty clear red flags to watch out for, things you can spot in yourself. The first one is just a consistent inability to properly relax.
Okay.
If the very thought of taking time off, like a real break, makes you feel guilty or anxious, that's a strong sign your drive might have become an unhealthy obsession.
It's that nagging voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should be productive. downtime is wasted time.
Exactly.
And the fix suggested, it sounds simple, but maybe powerful. Actually scheduling do-nothing time.
Yeah, literally putting it in your calendar, like an appointment you can't break. It sounds weird, maybe counterintuitive, but it's about consciously carving out that space for real rest, mental recovery.
Okay, makes sense. What's another red flag?
Another big one is when your entire sense of self gets tied up in your work or your hustle.
Hmm.
Like if someone asks, "Who are you?" and your first, maybe only thought is your job title or what you do professionally, that's a danger signal.
Why is that dangerous?
It suggests your self-worth is completely hanging on external achievements, which is
Yeah.
a pretty precarious place to be.
Yeah, okay. And the fix for that one?
The source suggests actively cultivating hobbies, but specifically hobbies that have zero connection to achievement or productivity goals.
So not like learning a new language for work. But
Exactly. Things you do just for the pure enjoyment. Painting, music, hiking, whatever it is. Anything that lets you connect with parts of yourself beyond the job description.
got it. Pure play almost.
Kind of, yeah. And finally, a third troubling sign the source points out
Yes.
is when you find yourself secretly, or maybe not so secretly, almost reveling in the hardship, bragging about how little sleep you got or how much you're sacrificing.
The suffering Olympics.
Right. That's not a badge of honor. It's actually a symptom of a really unhealthy relationship with work. It confuses suffering with dedication, which is, well, it's a dangerous mix-up.
Absolutely. And the fix there involves a pretty fundamental mindset shift, doesn't it?
It does. It's about prioritizing recovery with the same focus you give to being productive.
So getting enough sleep, eating well, taking real breaks.
Yeah.
That's not weakness, it's strategy.
Exactly. It's vital for long-term sustainability. And I love the reframe the source offers here. Instead of always asking, how can I push harder right now? Start asking, how can I keep this pace or something sustainable going for the next 10 years?
That's a powerful question. That really shifts the perspective.
Doesn't it? It changes everything. And this leads nicely into the idea of balanced performers.
Okay, who were they?
These are the high achievers, the successful people who manage to keep it going without being slaves to that relentless, potentially toxic motivation. And our source identifies 3 key things they tend to do differently. First, they prioritize systems over just raw willpower.
Systems. Like routines and habits.
Exactly. Instead of just relying on feeling motivated, which we all know comes and goes, they build positive routines. They set up their environment to support their goals. So taking action becomes less about how you feel in the moment.
Right, it's like automating the good stuff, like setting up automatic bill pay or savings transfers. You don't need to feel motivated each month. The system just does it.
That's a perfect parallel. Same idea for work, for well-being. The system carries you when motivation dips.
Okay, principle number 2.
Second, they treat rest as a strategic tool, a performance enhancer, not just a nice-to-have, or worse, a sign of laziness.
The LeBron James example here was interesting. Sleeping like 12 hours before big games.
Right. It really illustrates the point. Elite performers get it. Recovery is just as crucial as the effort itself. You have to optimize for the long game.
So it's reframing rest. It's not doing nothing. It's actively recharging.
Precisely. Letting your body and mind repair and come back stronger. It's strategic effectiveness, not laziness.
Makes total sense. And the third principle.
The third one is what the source calls detached passion.
Detached passion. Sounds a bit contradictory.
It does a little. But it means being able to work really hard, be deeply invested, care about what you do, but without tying your entire identity and self-worth to the outcome.
Okay. So you care about the work, but you're not completely emotionally devastated if something doesn't go perfectly.
Exactly. There's a bit of emotional distance from the results. That builds resilience. It stops those wild emotional swings you get when everything feels intensely personal and dependent only on pure motivation.
That Bruce Lee quote fits well here, doesn't it? Be like water.
It really does.
Motivation ebbs and flows like water.
Mm-hmm.
If you're rigid, totally dependent on that high tide of drive, you'll break when it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're adaptable, fluid like water,
Mm-hmm.
your systems, your underlying passion, they keep you moving forward even when the motivational current isn't strong.
Beautifully put. So, building on all this, to help you, the listener, get a handle on your own relationship with motivation, our source actually suggests a little experiment. They call it the Motivation Detox Challenge.
Detox. Intriguing. What does it involve?
Step 1 is simple, but maybe not easy. For 72 hours, just abstain from all external motivational content.
So no motivational podcasts, no hype videos, none of that stuff designed purely to pump you up.
Exactly. Hit the mute button on all that external go, go, go messaging for 3 days.
Okay, then what?
Then step 2 is just observe. Pay attention to what happens inside you during that time.
Like, how do I feel without that constant external fuel?
Yeah. Do you feel anxious, lost, or do you maybe feel a bit calmer, more present, less pressured?
Interesting. So it's a self-assessment, really.
It really is.
Yeah.
A chance to see if that reliance on external hype is genuinely helping, or maybe just masking something else, like a fear of slowing down.
Okay, 72 hours, no hype content, observe feelings. What's step 3?
Step 3 is to share what you find.
Okay, where?
Head down to the comments section. Tell us how your 72-hour motivation detox went. Use the hashtag #DetoxComplete.
Detox complete. Got it.
We're really curious to hear your experiences. Was it freeing, uncomfortable? Did you have any surprising revelations? We might even share some of the most insightful ones later on.
Cool. We want to know, has motivation been your friend? Or maybe a bit of a hidden saboteur?
Because really, the bottom line here, and our source puts it so well, the opposite of burnout isn't laziness.
Right. What is it?
It's sustainable excellence.
Sustainable excellence. I like that.
It's about finding a way to work, a way to live that you can actually maintain for the long haul without burning yourself out or sacrificing your well-being.
So if any of this resonated with you today, if you maybe saw a bit of yourself in those descriptions of toxic motivation, then definitely give this a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
We do these deep dives exploring how to perform better, live better, but in a sustainable way.
Let's keep building this conversation around a type of success that actually supports us instead of, depleting us.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for tuning in.